Hi there. This week on the show, we'll be chatting with filmmaker Madeleine Humphreys about her upcoming documentary, Am I Perfect?
And we'll take a look at the trailers for the upcoming blockbusters Godzilla and X-Men, Days of Future Past.
We'll also be looking at another local documentary, Perdu, directed by Perdu.
You are watching Showreel.
Welcome to Showreel. I'm Jacob Paint.
And I'm Benjamin Chicos. Today's guest has been getting a lot of media coverage in anticipation of her documentary, which is currently in post-production. With us today is Madeleine Humphreys, writer, director and subject of Am I Perfect? Welcome to the show, Maddie.
Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us a bit about Am I Perfect? What is Am I Perfect?
So, Am I Perfect is a participatory style documentary, and what I basically try to tell people to get them to understand it, it's like the anti-Supersize Me, where for 10 weeks myself went on this kind of social experiment where I did 10 weeks of celebrity fast diets, extreme exercise regimes, and really daunting beauty treatments in the search for what is perfect, why do people go to such lengths striving for this perfect image, and if at the end of it, if you do everything they say you should do, is it worth it?
I suppose, not to be a spoiler, but what was the outcome? Like, what would you say? Do these diets work or do they not work at all?
I think I've learned a lot. It was definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done. But it was I gained so much personal growth and knowledge. Some of the diets, some of the exercise regimes, some of the beauty treatments to the extremes that I went to weren't worth it.
Tell us about that actually. As far as the extremes go, what sort of diets were you doing?
I tried everything from the cabbage soup to the raw foods diet to the paleo diet, which is where you only eat like our prehistoric ancestors. I did the watercress soup diet. I ate baby food for a week. I did the master cleanse diet for 2 weeks, which is where you only drink this concoction of lemon juice, cayenne pepper and maple syrup, and that's all you pretty much live on. I cut my calories down to 500 calories a day, which is actually quite very dangerous, and definitely not the standard for my height, my size.
So that was kind of you sort of starving yourself at that point?
Yeah, it was, yeah, definitely. And then I've tried, on top of that, I was doing 3 hours of exercise a day, doing all different exercise challenges and trying to maintain this beauty routine, so doing all different treatments as well.
So what would you say was your favourite or the best, and what was the worst of the diets and the exercises?
I really think I learnt the most on the paleo diet, because it taught you a lot about using fresh organic product, really balancing fruit and vegetables. I don't think I could go 100% paleo, but if you are like having fun with some of the recipes and cooking in a different way and thinking of foods in a different way, you could definitely take some of that and cater it to your lifestyle and have, maybe a paleo dinner one night of the week or something like that. But I think my favorite thing was really being reintroduced to exercise, and
Okay, that's a good question. Before you did this documentary, what was your lifestyle like beforehand? Did you do much exercise? Were you healthy eater?
I think I could have done more. I think I was just, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention to it, I guess. I would eat what I want. I never calorie counted. I'd never done any of the beauty treatments, never dyed my hair, never got a spray tan before. I was just really naive to what people had done, and in terms of exercise, I would try to fit in a walk here and there, do a jog, go with my friends to an exercise class, but it was never really a priority.
So more than anything, I guess it sounds like it's just made you think a lot more about all of these different aspects.
Yeah, well, as I kind of went from not really paying attention to it to the extreme opposite within the documentary, obsessing with it.
Did it work? As in, did you get any results? Like you did, like, I'm going to guess it was like 10 weeks and you did a new diet each week, which is kind of tricky to figure out which diet worked if one of them did. But at the end of it all, what sort of results happened?
I lost 2 dress sizes, but the pain and the mental and physical limits that I pushed myself to, the health outcomes at the end of the 10 weeks, I had a doctor and a dietitian and many health experts follow me through, was not worth losing that much weight and transforming myself into a different image. I pretty much conformed to everything that society, celebrities, the media say you should do and how you live. And at the end of it, I felt extremely unhappy. I was very miserable, and my health was rapidly declining.
And even though you've lost 2 dress sizes now, just to get that in my mind, like, what's a dress size? Is that like, off your guts, you were talking like that, you've really shrunk, even though you'd lost a heap of weight? And were you looking physically better by the end of it?
No, I think by the last diets that I did were 2 weeks on the master cleanse, and it was probably the hardest 2 weeks of my life because I was also trying to exercise 3 hours a day. I was doing exercise challenges like walking up the stairs for an hour, and ice baths. So I think by the end of it, even though I'd lost this weight, I was looking drained. I was looking pale.
Did you have like a recovery period after finishing the whole thing?
Recovering? Definitely. I've only finished it 2 weeks ago, so I've still been following kind of a reintroduction into food and living. And
it's kind of like a detox from a detox. You got to toxify again.
So I have a dietitian following me to kind of restore some of the things that were lost when I was doing the documentary. But it was, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I don't think I could ever do lots of the diets again, but it was definitely something I'd never regret, because I am walking away with the knowledge and knowing that health and exercise is a priority, and that at the end of the day you have to do things that make you happy. So even doing all this craziness, I felt happiest when I reached a fitness goal, or I felt happiest when I felt confident after a beauty treatment, and I felt happiest when I got to try a new recipe. And it was when I felt happiest that I felt closest to perfect. So we shouldn't try to go out there and do everything they say and trying to create this perfect image, because it's not achievable and you don't feel perfect.
Well, I mean, that's really interesting. We've just got to take a small break at the moment, but we'll be back soon, so don't go away.
Welcome back to Showreel. We're chatting to filmmaker Madeleine Humphreys about her up-and-coming documentary, Am I Perfect? Now, Madeleine, you've had a fair bit of media attention already, and people haven't even seen the film. So tell us a bit about the media attention that you've been getting.
Well, it started off as a student project, but we always were very passionate about it. If you ask any of your friends, your sisters, siblings, girlfriends, boyfriends, any co-workers, everyone knows someone who's tried a beauty treatment, who's tried a crazy exercise regime or a diet, and I think everyone can relate to that. Everyone feels the pressures, especially women in particular, the pressures in society to look a certain way, to act a certain way, to live a certain way. So we really just tried to send someone out there and try to see if it's actually possible. And I think that's why we did get the reaction that we did. We never expected it. It has been very nerve-wracking, a big roller coaster ride, but I think people can just really relate to it, and that's why it's
hot topic.
Yeah, hot topic.
So what's like the most surprising thing about the the whole process, and what haven't, what hasn't anyone asked you about it that you think, why aren't they asking me this?
I think that we're only students. We went out doing this massive project of 10 weeks of filming. I'd never been on TV before. I'd never done a documentary. None of us had actually ever done a documentary before. And we really just tried to do this in the most honest way with an average normal girl going out. I still had to work, I still had to maintain a social life, I still had to do university studies, I still wanted to be normal, and so we went out and did this documentary, and to not have just doctors saying, diets are bad, and not have celebrities saying, you should do this, just having this normal girl and normal crew go out and explore and discover so much. That was, I think, the biggest, and something I never expected to do.
So it's been big, it's looking like it's getting bigger, but as far as I know, it's not even finished. It's still, there's stuff on the editing room floor, you haven't even pieced it together.
Yeah, so we're in post-production now. We hope to get it out in roughly 3 months, but you can follow us, see more trailers, and learn all about the documentary, and follow and see the release on our Facebook page, which is Facebook /Am I Perfect documentary.
Awesome, cool, we'll look it up. Now, we've got a bit of a segue problem here. We need to talk about movies as well, Jacob.
Oh, okay, right. Well, I think you've done a very good job with
Thank you, yeah.
So, we'll just ask you, who's your favourite actor and your favourite film?
Oh, well, that's one of the hardest questions you could ever ask a film student. I guess I don't really have a favourite, but someone I'm really liking at the moment is Geoffrey Rush. I think he's doing some brilliant work. And
favourite movie of Geoffrey Rush's? What's that?
Oh, I couldn't even say.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I think he's great in that. And then my favourite film, a film that's really inspired me to pursue filmmaking, and I think it's just marvellous, is Edward Scissorhands.
Yes.
Just Johnny Depp, Tim Burton, couldn't go wrong.
Yeah, beautiful.
Well, I think it's safe to say that 2014 has already yielded some major blockbusters, such as Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Noah, the Lego Movie, The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
The list quite literally can go on and on. But what about those films that we haven't seen yet, the ones that are about to hit the silver screen?
Oh, well, we're all curious, and so we'll take a somewhat critical eye to two up-and-coming films, Godzilla and X-Men Days of Future Past. Here are the trailers.
They're not fooling anybody that what happened was a natural disaster. It was not an earthquake. It wasn't a typhoon. They're lying. I'm not crazy. Whatever it is they're guarding so carefully, I need to be able to prove that it's real. Battles waged over the years, and yet none of them like this. Are we destined to destroy each other? Or can we change who we are and unite? Is the future truly set?
Awesome. I'm just thinking that's looking epic to me. Let's talk about it.
So which one are you looking forward to the most, Godzilla or X-Men?
Well, look, I'm back in my old days. Godzilla was a bit. It was an epic film, the old one. Do you remember the old one? I wasn't a total fan. You can have this massive, all this Hollywood action and all of that, but unless the story is there, it's got, it's all about story being king. Doesn't matter how much money that you spend on it. So, X-Men have never let me down in the past. I've loved every X-Men so far. Why are we talking about me? What about you, Madeleine? What do you think?
Well, I think it's really interesting to see over the last couple of years that this superhero kind of genre is really flourishing. But what Godzilla might surprise us is it kind of feels like it has a Jaws kind of like nature, that you never actually see the Godzilla character till right at the end. And I think that might capture a few people in. And also I think it's going to be one of those films where you don't really mind about the lack of a storyline. It's going to be like like, I love Avatar, like, not doubting it, but it was an experience. You went to watch Avatar, you sat in that cinema, and it was an experience like no other. And I think the new Godzilla film is going to be like that. All that amazing detail, and just, it would have taken them so long. So I think it's going to be one you'll sit in the cinema and be like, wow.
Definitely one to see in the cinema, I think, with all of the flashbangs and action and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, well, we're going to take another break, and we're going to take another break, but we'll be right back. So stay tuned.
Welcome back to Showreel. What do a young explorer, a farmer, and a BMX rider have in common? Yeah, we don't know either. Though Perdu, or Perdu, is a French word that means lost, hidden, a soldier sent on a specially dangerous mission. Perhaps there is a connection after all.
Comforted by familiarity, content in societal expectations. Others deviate from the constraints of mediocrity on a painstaking self-analysis of convictions and motives. These are the office antonyms.
My name's Jack, and I'm an explorer. I used to live in Port Macquarie. It was a bit of a wonderland, and I was Alice. Every time you would just walk on the sand, it was like walking in the footprints of God. I don't know if God has footprints, but I like to think he does. Since I moved to Brisbane, I've been really bored lately. I just haven't really found much to do here. There's just city everywhere, the traffic is terrible. So I got talking to a friend of mine, and I mentioned that I was a bit of an explorer, and he said that his dad used to own some sawmill, but now it's abandoned. Yeah, no, so we're gonna go and explore these abandoned buildings, and hopefully we get a bit of a kick. Sparklers with me on my journeys, you know, purely just for to raise morale. It's just been really cool to come out here and explore, just from being so bored all the time, and yeah. What was that?
Where are the tunnels?
He said they were below the basement, so I think this is the basement, so it could be on these.
Oh yeah, they're there.
Well, that was an ordeal. It's time to have some fun, do some exploring, and get a little weird.
What do you think? Frightening?
The only thing that I need help with is the amount of fun I'm having.
I'm Sam Fraser, and this is my lot. Why do you make me talk to the camera? You know I hate it!
Like talking to a girl. Except she's gonna stay around. Yeah, I've been racing for about 7 years now. Really started getting into it in the last 4 years and having a bit more fun with it. Everyone's great to hang out with. It's great to get away and just ride your bike. Just getting out with my mates is just the best part about it. Obviously there's risks involved. It's inevitable that something bad's going to happen at some point in a sport like this. Saved it.
You ready to go upside down?
Yeah, I'm ready to go upside down.
What's the percentage chance of a crash happening?
Oh, about a 71% chance.
Wash over me,
Yeah, I'm ready.
over me, and
Yeah, well, the reason we're out here really is because we enjoy the risk. We, want to have fun and get our adrenaline pumping.
you standing over me, over me. And I'm meant to be the girl who broke your heart, no, but I did you wrong. Now I'm all alone. Never meant to be your stepping stone, so let me now tell you how it went.
It's not good. Oh. Yeah, today went pretty well. Feeling a lot better on the bike and just enjoying it.
Okay, well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, there was certainly nice visuals on there. It was really well shot. It was.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, that was the first time I've seen that, and it actually looks. I mean, my first thoughts with that was going to be, okay, somebody's walking through a pipe, and they've managed to make a movie out of this. This is an interesting one, but there's something charming about it. Of course, there was pain and people hurting themselves towards the end. That's where it really started to pick up.
Yeah, I think Brody has such an eye for just beauty. Who could have thought you could make mud on the pebbled floor look so glamorous?
I did notice that. Like, I'm not normally a movie buff or anything, but those were really pretty shots.
Yeah.
Even just like the dust where he's flicking his bike tail around. And I'm like, yeah, this is pretty.
And I think because we only saw segments, but when you were to compile all the stories that he's put together, what I love is that he's got these completely different subjects and he's kind of just let them be who they are, and you get to see these raw kind of little insights into other people's lives. I think he does that really well.
I'm interested to see how they all connect together.
Yeah.
In the full film.
And for those that want to see more, you can find the full film on our website.
Well, that's all we have time for this episode. Thank you for joining us, Maddie.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you like the Am I Perfect Facebook page to know when it comes out.
And also be sure to check out our Facebook and YouTube pages and our website. Tweet us too if you like, and don't forget our Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign. Every little bit of your help is appreciated in ways we can only express by bringing you a better show every week. And on that note, we'll see you then.